Whenever I talk about my growth and where I am, I always say it was because of a book that I read. In fact, I
Wow.
believe everything about my life has always been about books. I
Hmm.
don't, before you know it, that's how my entire career in thought leadership, selling your knowledge, selling your brain, that's everything started. And it all started because I read that book. And it's about what do you pick out from the books that you read. It's
Hmm.
not about reading 360 books in a year. It's about doing 360 things from one book that you
Hmm.
read.
I'm gonna clap that.
Introduce myself. My name is Debbie, and I am the founder of My Legacy Journals, which is a digital journaling platform that allows you to be able to turn your voice into text and record journals that you can pass to your next of kin. Now, let's
Welcome to Book Oracle, a journey where words come alive and wisdom leaps off the pages.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Book Oracle official channel. I guess you guys missed me a lot, and you missed all our guests as well. But don't worry, we are here to fill that gap for you. And we sure also want to say that we missed you all, and we hope this moment we would have together, this time out of your life that we are taking, is going to be very impactful. Remember, this is Book Oracle official channel, and it's all about reading and books. So, guess what? I have someone spectacular with me today. And we met and it was really amazing. She's an amazing woman, someone who has passion for growth, someone who has passion for people to become a better version of who they are. She's someone who can have a vision and go for it. And I would say she's an unstoppable woman. So permit me to introduce to you the one and only. I need some fire emojis here. Fire. Debbie Ignite, and she's here to ignite us all. So welcome to the show.
thank you, thank you, thank you. The joyous, joyous, joyous joy. I don't know why you're not putting your name as joyous joy in this show because people need to know that you're the joyous joy. That's how I
Okay,
saved your
I'm
name on my
gonna put
phone. The
it.
joyous, joyous, joyous joy.
I'm gonna put it. Don't worry. Just as you
Please do,
mentioned
please
it.
do.
I will. I will. I'm like, let me blush a little.
Oh, blush me.
Nice to have you on the show, and thank you for coming
Thank
as well.
you.
I want to ask one funny question, and it might be thought provoking, but I just feel that it's something that really matters in our age and time.
Mhm.
Have you had any point in your life where you felt like reading books has actually contributed to where you are today?
Hmm, Definitely. Whenever I talk about my growth and where I am, I always say it was because of a book that I read. In fact, I
Wow.
believe everything about my life has always been about books. I
Hmm.
don't read so much. I'm going to put that here so someone doesn't feel like this is such a powerful woman. Trust me, I don't think there's any book I've ever read from beginning to the end. Yes, please. I want to get some people in the comment section saying, I love you. Okay. Because when I see all these people, like Book Oracle, them saying, you can read books. I'm like, God, I beg. I buy a lot of books, but I don't read all of them. Okay. So if you're in the comment section or you're watching this and you're like, all these people just like being superficial, talking about how they read books, I don't like to read books. I would rather listen to books. But even the ones that I listen to, I still don't finish them. Okay. I still don't, because life is busy. I'm a busy person.
Hmm.
Even when I wasn't busy, let's leave this now that I'm busy. When I wasn't busy, I still didn't used to finish books, right? So I'm just putting that out here because I love to be able to. I think sometimes people say I can read minds. I always answer people's questions before they say it. So as I was saying that, I just felt someone to say, "Oh God, book everything," because I said everything about my life has been about books, but yet I don't read books to the end. So the first
Hmm.
encounter about this thing, this part of my life was about a book I read was my choice of what I studied in school. Okay, so I remember being in SS1. I can remember categorically because I remember the class. I was in Methodist High School, Owerri, and we were downstairs. And then this senior from SS3 gave us this book, and it was this book that had courses that you can do,
Hmm.
where what you needed to do those courses, blah blah blah, those kind of stuff. I don't know if they still do that thing now, but then we had that. So you had to see which courses you would go for because then the only thing we knew was nursing and doctors, right? And because if you are in sciences, you're a nurse or a doctor. If you're in arts, you're a lawyer, right? But I've always been disruptive. I've always been disruptive in life. So people always thought, oh, you're going to be a nurse because my late mom was a nurse. So people say
Wow.
you're going to be a nurse, and I'll be like, hey, God forbid, I can't be a nurse. And they'll be like, why don't you want to be a nurse? I said, because you said I'm going to be a nurse. So that's the reason why I can't be a nurse. So because people expected me to be a nurse, I said I was not going to be a nurse. It was childish, but I mean, I guess I was just stubborn. I was just being disruptive, to be fair. Um, and of course, I think another reason why I was like, I won't be a nurse was because it was 5 years. So I was growing up living with uncles. And I was like, I don't want to do 5 years and then wear white clothes. I was like, it won't fit me. I'm not that beautiful to wear white clothes. Apologies to nurses, but I think it's either you're very beautiful or you just look like one nurse Eliza and you're ugly. So I was like, I don't think I want to be. I want to be fabulous. I want to be a celebrity. I want to be nice. I want to be on TV.
You
I
want to
want
be
to be in
happening.
prison. I want to be happening. I didn't know what I was going to be, but I was like, I want to be on TV. I want to be speaking. I just want to be someone that is important. I want to do that. So I just felt like, oh, I was above nursing. So when I got that book, so when the people would ask me, what would you then do? I'll be like, I don't know. And they would say, would you rather be a doctor? I'll be like, yeah, I would rather be a doctor than be a nurse. But at the same time, I didn't want to be a doctor because doctors were spending 7 years in school. I was mixing it up when I just said that five. So it was 7 years in school. And I was like, I can't spend 7 years in school. I'm living with uncles and aunties. I can't tell them I want to be a doctor. I mean, I was very brilliant early. I had to grow up early because of my circumstances, right? I didn't have the opportunity to be a stupid child. So it's not intelligent. I was smart early in life. So the book that I found. So when they gave me that book, oh, you can see the courses and what you can read and what they do, how much they pay them in salaries. I remember going through that book and I saw medical laboratory science. And then I saw immediately after you graduate, you will get an internship, guaranteed internship that will pay you 100,000 above. I said, that's it.
That's the one.
I said, that's the one. I cannot forget that. Because I was like, that's the one. And everyone was like, oh, really? Why do you? I was like, that's the one. I'm going to do med lab science. And they're like, why? I'm like, because I read that they are the bedrock of medicine. Do you know what it means to be the bedrock? Because I read it in a book, right? And they're like, they're the bedrock of medicine. They're the ones that give the doctors what to do. I read it and I painted this superhero career in medical laboratory sciences. And I remember going home and telling my uncle that, okay, no, I don't think it was the same day, but when they were not like, oh, I hope you've started thinking of what to study in school. And I was like, yes, Daddy, I'll do medical laboratory science. I know that he was shocked. He was like, how did you know about medical laboratory science? I was like, that they are the bedrock of medicine. Daddy, they are actually the people who tell the doctors. Like, he was just looking at me. And I was like, And then when I graduate, I will do internship and they'll pay me. That when I do the internship for 1 year, I will get 1.2 million naira. I had calculated the money. I was in SS1, but I was calculating the money. So I remember I said that, of course, my uncle didn't say anything then, but I know that the way he was looking at me, and he would keep talking about that years later until I even left that house. Because he would say that, I think when later he'll be like, oh, when Deborah was in SS1, she knew what she wanted to do with her life. She knew medical laboratory science, but you don't know what you want to study. He will be using me as an example for people. Deborah knows what she wants to study. You don't know. When she was your age, she knew what she wanted to study. She knew why she wanted. She could. Well, I read it in a book. So it was a book that I read it in, right? And I did medical laboratory science. And yeah, I mean, I never practiced. It was just that internship that I did. Collected that by the time I did internship, it was now 130 something, 130 something. So I collected all that 130 something that I did not know where I went to. At the end of the 1 year, I did not go home with 1.2 million naira. But to be fair, I saved about 500,000, so it was a
Wow.
good one. I started
Awesome.
off my life with that. Now, this was something that all happened because I read a book in SS1. I still can still picture it downstairs, how I read that book in that class. And it was just a matter of, we just shared book and I read it. I took it home, I read it. I was like, wow, this is it. This is what I will study. And I studied it, and that was what I used to start off my life, right? So it was all because of a book that I read.
Yeah. So we can say sometimes books can be like pointers to where you're going.
Yes.
They can be like
Catalysts.
pointers, yeah.
Yes.
And then the something about books that I'll point out from what you said is access to information
That you never knew possible.
that you never, yeah, access to information, and that information was like it gave you a kind of vision, like
Yeah.
inspired too. So it was more
Yeah.
like I'm following this direction.
Mhm.
And now that you said you didn't practice, even though you shot the money, that sense of it during internship,
And that was the entire goal, right? My entire goal was to eat the money to do the internship. That was my goal.
you're an amazing woman. You're doing well in tech world and in what you do.
Mhm.
And when it comes to finances, I know that you're well learned. Can you say there are any book that has impacted your understanding, your mindset, your
Mhm.
disposition towards
Mhm.
making money, towards
Mhm.
finances, towards being at the peak of your career or doing something that others cannot do, that you feel people
Mhm.
hold back from doing, something that has
Mhm.
fueled your passion? Is there any
Mhm.
book that has done that? And what at what point did that book change your orientation and pushed you to become who you are?
Yeah, so that book was the one I was actually going to talk of, but then I just remembered this very interesting story of SS1. So I needed to talk about that SS1 one. Because if I talked about the finance one, everyone will just be like, yeah, everyone talks about that. But this is like a really special one. People don't talk about that a lot. So for the finance one, I read, of course, there was Rich Dad Poor Dad,
Yeah.
which to me wasn't really, I mean, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, everybody was talking about it, but it didn't really click for me that much.
Mm.
But there was a book that clicked for me. And right now, just right now, I can't remember the name. And I always know that name and I know the guy. And I believe I really want to meet that guy. But right now, I can't remember his name. I just
Do
can't
you
remember his name.
remember the title if we could search it
I
out?
can't. It was something about, I just know what I read in the book, but I can't remember what the book was.
Okay.
And it was about the entrepreneur cycle? Is it the rat? It was about a rat race. So this person, I wish I can remember. I always know the name of that book, but just now I can't remember and I don't know the name of the guy.
Maybe you
anyways,
tell us about it. Maybe one of our viewers can say, "Oh, this is the title."
This is the
So
book.
if you know the title,
The guy is a mentee. The guy, as at that time, he was a mentee of Robert Kiyosaki. I can picture his face right now, but I can't say his name. I don't know his name because I read so much from that guy. Because Robert Kiyosaki was already up here.
Yeah.
The guy was a little bit down, and that's why because right now I coach people, right? I teach people to start off stuff, and sometimes I tell them that there are people who will learn from you that can't learn from me, because I'm already here. Those people are below, and you're here. They would learn from you better because they will relate to you better. So I was relating to that guy better than I related to what Robert Kiyosaki was saying. So the guy was talking about the rat race and how you get a job and it's 9 to 5 and all your time is going. And then he learned from Robert Kiyosaki and he started a business and he started to teach people how to do something. And when he taught people how to do something, he sold. How many tickets did he say he sold? And then he realized, wow, if I can sell this to these people, then that means more people can buy. And if I am able to get 1,000 people to listen to me, and out of that 1,000, only 10 buy what I'm selling, then I can always look for another 1,000 people to listen to me, and only 10 can buy, then I can become a millionaire. And I remember reading that book, and as I had just graduated. I was looking for the internship that was not coming. Because then it was after, that when you come into adulthood, you now learn that there are certain things you were not told. So I had to I worked in a lab, so I got a lab to work in so I can get like maybe experience or just get out of the house. I only worked for 3 months. It was the 3rd month that I resigned. So I think it was my 2nd month. By then I had learned how to make wigs. So I was making wigs, right? And then I read this book and this guy was talking about how you need to get out of the rat race and then talking about the entrepreneur cycle and how if you're doing a business that requires you to be there and produce it, how many do you need to produce? And this was me that had just learned wig making. And now I just graduated from school. Everyone is saying, learn a skill. So I had learned a skill. I was making wigs, collecting 2,500 naira per wig. I was happy that I was at least doing something. And then I was reading this book that was asking, how many will I need to produce before I can become a millionaire? And I was like, oh God. And then this guy was now talking about selling your knowledge. I'm trying to see if I can find this guy's name. The guy was not talking about selling your knowledge. And that was when he clocked for me. And I felt, okay, if this guy is saying this, and I read every single thing he was saying, and because I am this person who always likes to pick up ideas and just go with it, I am one person who will I will hear something today, I'm doing it tomorrow. I can hear something today, I've done it the next day. So I took it up and then I asked myself, what do you know how to do that you can teach people to do? Because that's the question the guy was asking. What do you know how to do that you can teach others to do? And if you can teach others to do it, they will pay you a premium amount to learn how to do it. And then it was wig making. So because I knew how to make wigs, I decided I was going to try it out. So I reached out to my friends. I told them, I want to teach people how to make wigs. This is someone that just started making wigs barely 1 month ago. I was like, I want to teach people how to make wigs. Because I paid money to learn how to make this wig. I believe I paid the person that was learning how to make it from. I think I paid about 20 something thousand naira. And this was in 2018. And I traveled from Owerri to Lagos to go and learn how to make this wig. And paid the person 20 something thousand naira. So I was like, I'm going to do this thing that this guy is talking about in his book. Because I was like, if this girl that taught me how to make this wigs did not think about doing it large scale, in my brain I was like, if one person can pay me 20 something thousand, if I put 10 people together, that's how much? That's big money. That's many money. I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I said, I called my friend. I was like, can you do flyer for me? Do flyer, make a flyer for me. That time, at that time, do you know how many business I had tried? I had already said I was going to do event planning. I was launching businesses every 2 market days. So I already had Debbie's events. That's the first business I ever done, Debbie's events. I never got a customer. But I did flyers. I printed stuff. I was big. If you see my Facebook page then, it was so nice. I hired the best of the best. Of course, it's not hire. I motivated all my friends to do it for me for free. It was good, right? But because I read this book where this guy was talking about the entrepreneur cycle, talking about how you needed to, how many of that stuff will you need to do to make money? If it requires you to be there, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, that means that event planning business is not me. I have to look for something that can sell my knowledge that is very easy to sell and everything. So I asked someone to design a flyer for me for a class. I was going to teach women how to make wigs for free. No, I was going to teach women how to make money using wig making in a WhatsApp free training. That is wisdom, another level of wisdom. Of course, this didn't now come from just that one book. So because I read that one book, the guy would include links. He would include links on videos you need to watch about how to sell your knowledge. So the more I watched those videos, the more I would see other videos from YouTube. YouTube would recommend other videos.
Yeah, in
Then
line
I
with
was
that.
joining, yes, then I was joining Facebook groups. To be fair, I was reading a lot. So I was joining Facebook groups. I think that time my salary was about 20 something thousand too. I was joining Facebook groups. Then I would buy online courses, online trainings. I would buy things that are saying, teach people how to monetize your knowledge, how to do this. I was buying. And as I was buying, I was executing. As I was buying and executing. So I was already telling someone, I want to teach people in a WhatsApp group how to, and then if I see people that are doing something, I will read off what they are doing and go and do it. That's basically what I was doing. And I hosted that class. I made 4 times of my salary in just one day of teaching. So I did a 2 days class. I did the WhatsApp class. I upsold it. The women bought. I taught women how to do wig making. I resigned from my job, started teaching women how to make wigs. Women were registering from 1-to-1. Before you know it, that's how my entire career in thought leadership, selling your knowledge, selling your brain, that's everything started. And it all started because I read that book. And it wasn't Rich Dad Poor Dad. It was from that other guy. I can't remember his name, to be honest, and that's bad.
Even if you don't even remember the book, the fact that there was something you could take from that book, a knowledge that stood with you and then became yours. And another thing I love about what you said was the fact that you didn't just read. You might not be able to read all the books in the whole world, but if you find a book that can point you in your own direction, then you didn't stop there. You gathered knowledge, more knowledge in line with that, tailored towards that perception. And then you didn't just do that. You didn't stop at that. You practicalize it. You put it to use. So it's not just about gathering books, reading a lot of books. It's about you putting it to use. Let those books pass through you and be seen through you. So you're not just a reader. You're someone who is putting those things to use. And that word you used there was that when you hear something, you do it. You hear something. So even though you're reading it, it's more like you're hearing it in your inner mind, but it's using a thought pattern towards how you can bring it to your own terms and then make impact with it. And that impact is in I will spend the billions.
I will make the money. Yeah. That's basically it. And that's why it goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. I don't read all these books like a textbook. And that's the reason why I'll keep saying I don't finish books. I can tell you so many things I've executed. We can keep asking this question and I'll keep giving you different books that I've read and different things that I've taken out of it, but I never finished those books. I won't say I sat down and finished the book, but I would say that I opened this book and I read a particular chapter that ignited something in me. And because that particular chapter said, do X, Y, Z. Now, if the remaining part of the book is not talking about how to do that X, Y, Z, I would then go to look for how to do that X, Y, Z that book said I should do.
Yeah.
So it's not about, I want to brag about how I finished reading this book, right? It's about bragging to say, for example, I have a book here with me. I always have a book around, right? So this is Limitless and Thriving by Rookie Arts, right? I just looked around to see if there's a book around me, and this is the book that I have right now that I'm reading. And to be fair, I haven't finished this book, right? I have not finished this book, but I can remember certain things that have already stuck with me from the book.
You can
And
share
all
with
that
us.
matters to me is carrying books. And all that matters to me is carrying books, opening them up, and reading a particular part of it that my brain starts to think about how I can implement what was in that book, right? So, like I said, the particular chapter was how she moved abroad. How she moved abroad. She was already in the banking industry. Everyone was trying to move into a particular way. She wanted to go to Canada. By the end of the day, she had to think strategically and ask herself where she wanted to be. And then she came into the UK and she didn't just do what every other person was doing. She then transitioned into tech. Right? So these are the kind of stories that it just gets me thinking, okay, that means I don't need to do what everybody's doing. So it's about what do you pick out from the books that you read. It's not about reading 360 books in a year. It's about doing 360 things from one book that you read.
I'm gonna clap that.
Yeah. It's not about reading 12 books. It's about doing 12 things from one book or doing 12 things from 3 books. So that's my own take.
Thank you so much for that. And
Sometimes you gotta step back from the world and get lost in a book.
another question I would like to ask you is you talk a lot about journals, which I would say they're also a form of books. Yeah. So what difference do we have between journals and books? And yeah.
Okay, so in case anyone does not know, because I know I didn't introduce myself, my name is Debbie and I am the founder of My Legacy Journals, which is a digital journaling platform that allows you to be able to turn your voice into text and record journals that you can pass to your next of kin. Now let's go back to the question. The question is why journals and what makes journals different from books? Journals are basically your own way of stepping out and reading about yourself. A journal is the way through which you read, through which you exist in 2 spheres. You exist as the person reading, and you also exist as the person being read about. A journal is very important because there are certain things that you go through in life, there are certain lessons you go through that if you don't put them down, then it would not help you in another phase of your life. The reason why certain people are high performing is because they take stock of what is going on in their life. So I take stock a lot. I use my voice to text a whole lot. That's what I use on my phone. And that's why when I was launching a journaling platform and a journaling app, I did it to be voice to text,
Wow.
which means that I can be in my kitchen after a very long day. And then I remember something that I actually did today. For example, this story that I've just told you now about how I read a book that helped me to choose doing this med lab science. I've never really thought about it. At the end of today, I'm going to journal about it. I'm going to tell myself how I read something and because of it, that's why I'm in this career path. Imagine
Yeah.
I didn't read that book. I would have maybe done microbiology that everybody was doing then. But again, anyway, I'm Debbie. I don't do what everybody. If everybody is doing something, I won't do it. Except there's a lot of money there, then I will do it. If there's money, then I'll do it. But if there's no money, everybody wants to be a doctor. That's the reason why I won't be a doctor. Everyone wants to be a nurse. I won't be a nurse. But journaling is something that helps you to be able to reflect. And when you're reflecting, you begin to learn. Our brains, how many percentage of our brains were we being told that we use? I think we don't use up to 1%.
Yeah, I think so.
We don't use up to 1% of the brain. Now, your brain is working when you're sleeping. Your brain is working when you're resting. Most of my best ideas come when I'm resting or when I'm about to sleep or when I wake up from bed. Journaling is what helps me to be able to capture those ideas.
Yeah.
I remember a friend of mine, she's my cousin sister anyway, and one of my best friend. When I went to her house when I was sitting in school, in her hostel, and in her bathroom, you will see sticky notes and pen in her bathroom. And I would be like, why? She would say, because ideas come to you anywhere. The girl is radical. She said, ideas come to you anywhere. And I was like, can't you write the idea when you come out of the bathroom? She's like, no, it will disappear.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, okay. So that's it. Ideas come to you anyhow. Now, journaling is the way for you to be able to capture those ideas. Now, journaling with what we are doing at my legacy journals, being able to help people to journal in a way that it can help their next of kin, in a way that can help their children and their children after them. Imagine my children reading some of the things that I've gone through, reading some of the things that I've reflected on, how I struggled with leaving the job that I took because I needed to get experience here that I had no business doing. And then I took the job and then I just had in my mind like I need to resign. And I kept feeling like, oh, everybody will say, why are you resigning? You need to get another job before resigning. But the day I resigned, the day I dropped my resignation, I got a call that put me through to this next job that I'm doing. And it was impromptu. It was a miracle that plugged me to the kind of dream job, even though now, you know, when you enter the job, you now realize that it's not dream. So you need to wake up. But it is the dream, right? Because it's the dream. It's nice. It's amazing. It's the kind of job that I want to do. I'm making impact where I am, right? I'm doing what I love. But the reason why I'm here today is because I had that leading in my heart and I did something that made no sense. I left my job without any backup plan. Of course, I had a backup plan because I always plan things ahead. So immediately I started feeling like you're going to resign, I said to save. So I was like, if I save, if I spend 2 months and I can't fend for myself, I'll go back and find another job. But I didn't have to spend 2 months. Literally, the day I dropped my resignation, the next day, I got a call that just put me through. Just send an email to someone about something. And just like that, I got this job. And just like that, I was able to start off my legacy journal. I was able to go deeper into my business. And that's how things started to kick off for me. Now, imagine my child being backed up with that kind of knowledge from that journal. Not that he read one book by someone that he won't remember. Just the same way I can't remember this person. But then they read a journal that their mom wrote about how she resigned from something. She resigned. And don't forget that I journaled through my resignation confusion. So you will read that confusion. I read through my journals. So I read through my journals and I see, oh my God, you were actually making a lot of sense here. And in that journal, I'll be saying things like, oh, I'm so confused, but I know that I feel deep in my heart that God is asking me to do this. I don't know how to do it. I don't know when to do it. I don't know what will happen, but I guess you will never know unless you do it. Then I'll ask myself, what's the worst thing that can happen? Then I'll go and watch videos on how to prepare yourself for the worst. What's the worst that can happen? If I want to leave my job without having a job, what can you do? Then those videos will teach me that you need to have money to spend for the next 3 months. I say, okay, then I'll go and do it. Have money to spend for the next 3 months. I literally was doing what I was reading in books and then what I was reflecting with myself through my journals. So I would say, no matter how many books you read, I would recommend you read you. Read your own book, and your own book is through your journals. Because that is something that will teach you a whole lot. It may not teach you something now, but it will teach you later. So that's the difference. A journal is you reading you. You step out of yourself to read about yourself. And it helps you to have a better understanding of yourself. Because most times we don't pay attention to ourselves.
You know, one thing I would draw out from that is it's like we're all potential authors, but we are not just writing. And there is a
Yes.
lot you can learn from your own story. And that is where journaling comes in. You know, I think
That's what journaling comes in.
a few days ago, my mom was like, I'm going to write down a lot of things I want you all to carry on after I'm
Ah.
dead.
Mm.
And I'm like, the first person that came to my mind was you. I'm like, my legacy journal.
Ah.
I'm
Yes.
like, well, the second thing that also came to my mind was that if she had thought of this many years back, I don't know if she did, and she had created a platform for this, she'd be making more money.
Mm. Yeah.
Because a lot of ideas come to us, and the problem is we have the idea, but we don't know how to monetize it.
We
And
don't know how
that
to
is the big
execute it.
issue. And because you were keen on that, you searched for knowledge in that aspect, and that has also helped you. So journaling is something that, sometimes when I reflect on some of the challenging moments I've had, the stories you write when you're in pain. Oh God.
Preach, sister, preach. No one is going to preach any message bigger than that.
When you are out of that situation and
Mm-hmm.
you're on the better side of life and
Mm-hmm.
you read those write up, you'll be like,
Yo.
and most times when we're going through another challenge, we
Mm-hmm.
forget that we've been through similar
Something like
challenges
this.
and
Exactly.
we've scaled through. So
Mm-hmm.
journaling is something that I believe everybody should take serious.
Yeah.
Because if you don't tell your own story,
Mm-hmm.
somebody else will tell it
We'll tell it for you.
in a way you
Mm-hmm.
don't like, and in the long run you might be dead not to be able to defend yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So write your own story.
Write
Yeah.
your own story.
Journaling is
Tell your own
something.
story yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
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 And all the
Journaling is
successful
something.
people, we know, they write books about themselves.
Yeah.
Even the ones that didn't write it themselves. Because I saw this whole banter about how most millionaires and billionaires have written books, that those books were not written by them. People wrote it for them. But it just passes one story to you that everybody has a story that needs to be told.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
reason why what we're using with my legacy journals, we're helping everybody to have a reason to just tell your own story.
Tell your
Now
story.
you're not saying, oh, I need to write it down. I need to have, no, just open that app, title it My Life Story. Any day you remember it, just say, hey Siri, open up my journal. Siri, open it. Then you start to talk. I remember when
Yeah.
I was in labor and I thought it was the end of my life. But you see,
Hmm.
when you're in pain, don't say some things when you're in pain, because now I can remember that child is a total blessing to me. Or remember
Hmm.
when I was waiting for this child and praying for this child and I thought it was the end of the world. So if anybody even reads this, just know that it will come to an end. Or you just say, oh, I remember when I felt like my business was going to stumble. There are some things
Hmm.
that you will be able to
Yeah.
reflect on, right? And at the end of
Yeah.
the day, you will then open up your journal one day and just realize that, oh my God, I've written
A book.
70,000 words. And that's an entire book. All you now
Yeah.
need is maybe give it to an editor to edit it
Mhm.
and put it together and you have a book.
Yeah.
So,
Voice to
it's a
text.
win-win. Yeah. It's a
Voice to
win-win.
text actually it makes it easy. It eliminates the
Yeah.
challenges of having to pen down, write down, and it just makes
Mm-hmm.
life easy. So that is something I wish everybody can take from this. And it's not bad if you write something about every day. You can just say, "Oh, today what did I learn?" Voice to text.
Mm-hmm.
Get it
Mm-hmm.
ready. Get it written. Tell your own story, and it's also a sign of growth. So thank you so much for
Yeah.
that. And if you are to write a book, what category would you like to focus on? And what are the major principles that you think people are missing out that you would like to fill the knowledge gap?
If I would like to write a book, my first book was Mission Impossible, which was a book on goal setting, basically about knowing that everything is possible. It may not happen in the exact way you thought about it, but everything is possible. So the book was covering things like how to set goals, what to do when those goals are not going to come to pass, how to find another way around your goals. So that was my first book. My second book was on publishing. My third book was a consistent cash flow code. So the reason I'm listing this is so that I will know the book that is remaining. Because you asked me if I want to write a book, I want to know what's remaining. So my third book was the consistent cash flow code, which
Yeah.
talks about how to set up something that can bring in money for you every single day from the internet. So what is left? My fourth book was First Daughter, Not Family Savior. How to
Wow.
make sure that as a first daughter, you did not turn to sacrificial lamb and use all your money that you're supposed to use to build your life and use it to sacrifice for the family. That's my fourth book. So what else would I write to write? My fifth book, maybe it would be around people running with their goals and visions,
Mm.
running with their ideas and visions, because that's currently what I am about. That's currently what I'm telling people to do. It's
Yeah.
about the small ideas. It's about knowing that it is God that worketh in you to will and to act.
Mm.
You are not just willing, you're not just thinking about it. For example, you may believe that this your book Oracle official was just an idea that just came just like that. No.
Yeah.
It was God that was working in you to even will to do it.
Mm.
And then
Mm.
working in you with the ability to do. So if you didn't have that will, you will not do it. I mean, you would
Yeah.
have been spending your evening doing some nice relaxing, but you're not relaxing. You're right. You're not relaxing. I used to say no rest for the wicked. You're not
I
relaxing.
think everybody is wicked. If we go by that route.
I used to tell I said no rest for the wicked, right? I was just saying to my husband today as I came back from church, I finished it and I was like, I wish I can rest, but I had a meeting. I had a meeting from 6 until when we started this meeting. And after this meeting, I've already missed a call that I need to return. Then I have another call again that I ought to return. It's not as if I must return them, but there's no rest for the wicked. So you are wicked. Just be wicked. If you're not wicked, you're not doing anything. You have to be wicked. Anyways, yeah. So the book I would write, I would recommend people to read would be on executing. executing. Listen, I won't promise you that every idea you execute will be life-changing. I can't promise that. But what I promise is that the more you get good at executing, the more you will not miss out on the idea execution that will change your life.
Yeah, because the opportunities keep coming.
And because you
But
keep
if you're not
executing.
executing, yeah.
So if you're
I think
waiting for,
it's a gap. I'm with you.
yeah, like,
I'm with
so I said, if you're waiting for, if you are not, and I hope someone really gets this, the better you get at executing your ideas, the better and the easier it will be for you to change your life. Because the day that the idea that will change your life will land on your head, it will not come with some nice rigmaroles. It will not come with some bells. So if you've not been executing on the little ones, you need to fail in a lot of things for you to be able to succeed in something. So if you're
Yeah.
not failing, you're not doing anything. So imagine an idea comes to you like, no. For example, before I started my legacy journal, I started where women thrive. Even though I started so many things. I started some that I didn't even finish up with. But I get so good at executing. I am always executing. And that's why when I executed my legacy journals, I'm like, play, start getting serious. Like, play, I'm going to London Stock Exchange. Like, play, I'm going to Black Business Conference to speak. Like, I'm pitching at Visa Foundation. I'm like, okay, this looks like it's serious. So. Like, I'm seeing evaluation. I'm seeing a amount of money that's possible for us to get. I'm like, oh, so we can actually be rich from this. Okay, we're doing it. So anyone that's watching this, execute. That's the book I would recommend and the book that I would write.
So we look forward to reading that book. Yeah, executing idea. I think is the major gap between successful people and people who are yet to succeed. And I think it also plays a role. I read this book, A Love Affair with Failure. I think I did a review on it. I posted it earlier. That book is amazing.
Okay.
You know, it was bringing out research works that support that notion and also helping us to realize that the fact that you're failing in something does not mean you're a failure, but you will learn it from your mistakes. So when you start executing, just as you say, you would learn, okay, how not to do something, how to do something, how to get better, what way to do something. You begin to see things from people's perspective that, okay, this is what people are actually
Yeah.
getting attracted to. So it begins to form building blocks that helps you to attain who you are. And then because you're used to executing, that when the right idea comes that is going to launch you into limelight or success, you won't miss that opportunity because you have so mastered it. And then all the failings you've had in quotes would help you to at least it will give you a footing in building it up to a certain level. Then you also learn from that aspect as well. Because the people that
Yeah.
the person who created the light bulb
999 times. You try, because me, if I cannot try 900, I will be honest, I cannot try 999 times. That's resilience.
up on the second attempt, third attempt, fourth, 999. That is some deep resilience there. So you also need resilience in executing your plan. Like, is it I do it or I
Yeah.
do it? Is it I take action or I take action? So there is no two ways about it. So we look forward to reading those books actually. I personally look forward to reading those books. And I know you're an author. If you're to advise people who are yet to write books, I know we've talked about the fact that keep journaling each day. I want you to give advice based on likely challenges they can face and how to overcome them. Maybe one or two challenges and how to overcome them in the process.
So people who want to write a book,
Yeah.
it depends. Right now, there's so many ways to write a book. There's no one way that kills it. You can write
Yeah.
a book now using a ghostwriter. There's
Yeah.
no award for suffering. Right? So find out what's the best.
Hmm.
What's the best? No one would know. A ghostwriter is basically a ghostwriter because they are a ghost. They write your book, nobody knows they wrote the book for you. You basically get on this kind of calls with them and you tell them everything about your book, or maybe you're sending them voice notes and then they produce the book for you. You can use journaling, and from journaling, after doing the journaling for maybe 1 year or so, you send it to an editor and they produce the book for you. The only thing you need to be asking yourself is, who am I? That's the first question to ask yourself. Who am I? Who am I? If you know yourself, then you'll be able to produce. So are you the kind of person that is hands-on? Would you write? I mean, in this generation, there are people who write their book by hand because that's how they flow.
Cool. Yeah.
Are you the kind of person who is voice to text? I am voice to text. I talk more than I write. Writing is not my strong suit, but most of my posts on social media is write-ups. I don't
Yeah.
like videos, but I talk, right? Because if I do videos, it will be too long. So I use voice to text and then I write, I put out those posts as blog posts and all of that. So ask yourself, who are you? Man, know thyself. So when you know yourself, then you will know your challenges. There's no one challenge for everybody. Knowing yourself is what will help you to know what your challenges are. So that's what I would advise. Who are you? And when you know your challenges, then you can now know what solutions would be for that challenge. Do you need to hire a ghostwriter? Please do it. Invest money into that stuff.
Yeah.
Get it? If you don't need a ghostwriter, use a voice to text too. Your Google, your keypad can actually have a voice to text tool that you can use. So know yourself and then you'll be able to know your challenges. But there's no really one challenge that. The only challenge you say maybe procrastination because everybody procrastinates.
So
So
writing
yeah,
a book is
that's what.
basically easy. Yeah, writing a book is basically easy, and the only reason why you've not written one is because you stopped yourself from writing one. So you are the only obstacle in this.
To
So
be fair,
no, we,
I
yeah.
don't like to subscribe to the writing a book is easy. So trust me, I don't think there's anything in this world that is easy. I would say if you want to write a book, that's why I say, man, know thyself. If you want to write a book and want to write it yourself, go and get training on how to write a book. There are so many online courses that teach people how to write a
Yeah.
book. Life is so easy. I don't subscribe to, I don't think there's one thing in this world that, what have I not paid for? Maybe how to cook. I think I bought, I'm just realizing that I bought it and I don't think I've even opened it. But I buy a lot of stuff. I invest in knowledge. Invest in knowledge, okay? So I
Invest
would
in knowledge.
advise invest in knowledge, because sometimes when we say some of these things that it's not easy, it's not hard to do, it's very easy, people get confused. Like, it's not hard. Can you tell me how to do it? Sorry, in this podcast, we can't tell you how to do it. Just go on Google. In fact, there are YouTube videos that teach people how to write a book, starting from the fact of what is the idea. Then, what is going to be chapter 1 of that book? What's going to be chapter 2 of that book? How are you going to make sure that you start off with a nice hook that makes people to want to read to the next chapter? So it is a lot of work. You need to learn it. It's an art, right? Anyone can just come up and write a book. It's an art. So I would say everybody should learn it, okay? So it's
Yeah.
very easy, like she said, but I am the, we have the mommy and the daddy. When daddy is the hard person, mommy is the soft
Mommy
person.
will be the soft one.
So I am the soft one now, telling you, I believe you that is hard, but you can go and learn how it's done. There are resources out there to help you. So yeah,
Yeah, so
we are
seek
balanced
knowledge.
here, guys. We're balanced.
Seek knowledge, invest in knowledge. The
Invest in
knowledge
knowledge.
is all around. It's just you taking a step of execution, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Go that
Mm-hmm.
extra mile to get the knowledge you need in your own
Yeah.
part. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. So if you have anything you want to say before we round up, this is it.
Yeah, I believe I've said enough. Him who has ears, he who
Let him
has
hear.
ears, let him hear what the Lord is saying to his people. So make do
Yeah.
with what you've heard and execute, 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 execute.
Yeah.
Executioners are the people who do well, not
Yeah.
perfectionists. Executioners. Just
Mm,
execute, execute, execute,
mm,
execute. Don't be a
mm,
perfectionist. Execute. You better
mm,
be. I better be seen executing messily than not executing at all.
mm. That is very profound. That is very profound. That is very, because when I executed Book Oracle official channel, it wasn't perfect. But the truth is, you get better
And
on
look
the
at you
go.
today.
You get better on the go. It can only get better. So just do it. Thank you
Mhm.
so much. That was
Mhm.
some powerhouse. That was very igniting. I need to put a lot of fire emojis.
That's why I'm Debbie
Thank you
Ignite.
so
Clock
much.
it, clock it, clock
Yes,
it, clock
so
it, clock it.
igniting the world,
All
igniting
right
people.
then.
Learned a lot from your wealth of knowledge, and so we say thank you so much. And we love
All
you.
right, my
And to all
pleasure.
our viewers, I want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you learned one thing. If you've learned anything, please drop it in the comment
Mhm.
section and tell me which part of this podcast, or which part of this interview, or which part of this conversation actually made so much striking impact in your life. So on this note, we say we love you. We are the Book Oracle official channel. Till our next episode, we'll blow you kisses. Thank